Prince Charles, Camilla Shand, you see that we have 4-6 as a relational dynamic. So we have sameness, relatively speaking. Just to show, comparatively speaking, what we might say to that person. Well, in your relationship, you both have a resonance, you can say that, or a sameness when it comes to the way you are aware of how you live your life or your life's work. It's about friendliness. Yeah, it's kind of like a companionship channel would be like, oh, you talk about the two of them together and they both have this. We see no companionship channels here. But here, we have a sameness in that they're both opportunists. They're both designed to have their opportunity or influence come through those that they know, through the network. That they're designed to be introduced to each other formally in order for this relationship to work. Not designed for strangers, those 4s, yeah, the 4-6, but all opportunities coming through the network. And then we have the 6 in resonance. They're both here to be role models in the later stages of their life. They both had trial and error as a theme in the first 30 years of their life. They both are designed to be objective from the physical perspective or point of view as far as their body. This is their brain-body system on either side. So they resonate, both of them, with learning to become wise as time goes on, being role models, being authentic, avoiding hypocrisy, because when you're not living in alignment, what tends to happen at 50 and beyond is that you're a hypocrite. Instead of being a role model, you express the hypocritical nature unconsciously, and everybody can see that, and that's when your body starts to have challenges, yeah, wherever your 6s are, unconsciously. If it's the body side, it's going to be a physical degradation of the form when we're not living authentically and in alignment. Okay. Now, if we look at Prince Charles's relational dynamics profile-wise, we see the 4-6, and the 4 is harmonic to Diana's 1. So the 1 harmonic to the 4, and the 4 harmonic to the 1, vice versa. Same thing we can see here with Prince Charles, that 6 is harmonic to her 3. So relatively speaking, their profile is an exactly perfect harmonic match. Yeah, their profiles have a similar quality in nature. So now they're different enough to be interesting. Prince Charles, we mentioned what 4-6s can show up like with Princess Diana. More of that introspectiveness. This is not about networking and schmoozing, although, and we're going to look at that after the break, you can see that we have resonance here and resonance here as well in their nodal environment. So something that brings them together as far as their experiences of life, people that they're with potentially, being able to relate to or resonate to, being in an environment that is 1 in nature and having a perspective that is 4 in nature, because that's what the nodes, the directional pieces, have to offer us. Okay. What Ra says is that if you do have a resonance and a harmony in the profile, there is something to hold you there in that bond, a shared purpose on some level. So you can see the shared purpose with the 2 of these 4-6s. And then here's a different example. The 6-2 in Robert Downey Jr. and the 1-4 in Sarah Jessica Parker. Now, we see that 6 is not resonant or harmonic with the 1. 2 is not resonant or harmonic with the 4. Similarly, 1 is not resonant or harmonic with the 6, or with the 2. And 4 is not resonant or harmonic with the 6. So pretty sure I covered both bases there. We have dissonance, in other words, in the profile. However, if we look again down where the nodal environment is, we have a resonance there on the physical body side. Okay, resonance, exactly same line quality on the body side for both of them. Not to mention, it's the exact same gates. You see that? So they were born around the same time, I think. Double check and make sure, but relatively speaking, this is the same exact nodal polarity, you can see, right? The difference is, it's slightly different. Not exactly the same, but slightly different, because look, we have the 5 and the 6. So same gates, but his is a 5th line quality and hers is a 6th line quality. Now, what do you notice about that 6 personality-wise for her? She is resonant with his personality. Her perspective is resonant with his personality awareness. And his perspective, conscious direction in life, his 5 is not resonant or harmonic with her. So she has more of an opportunity to clearly relate to his personality construct, because his Sun Earth is exactly the same line quality as her nodal perspective. So that shows a kind of bridge, you could say. If you can't find resonance or harmony up here in the Sun Earths, the next place that we go, in order to give these people some context for relating with each other, we look to the nodes to say, okay, so here's where you can really start to, we could say, get an idea, relate to him, because you're so different compared to the way that you witness or experience the world. The way that you see kind of relates to the way that how he is here to be in this life, relatively speaking, okay? So, according to Ra, if you don't find resonance or harmony in the profile, you may find it in the nodes, as we just saw there, okay? Or nodes across the way. That's only if you're desperate to find some relationship between who they are and how they see or where they be, to help them find a commonality. Okay? So there will be a dissonance in the way your purpose gets fulfilled if you don't have resonance or harmony in the profile, but hey, it's supposed to be that way because that's what you were born with. So it's more of a challenge, we could say, because they're very, very different. Now, here's another example. We have Diego Rivera Frida Kahlo, a 5-1 and a 6-3. So, relationship-wise, we can see, hoping you're getting the idea now, no resonance, no harmony between these two. Okay, correct me if I'm ever wrong. Please help me out here. Pretty sure that's no resonance or harmony, right? And then if we look at the nodes, 2-4, no resonance, no harmony. 3-2, no resonance, no harmony. But we do have his environmental and perceptual frequency being a 2, and that's harmonic to what she is in this life. Yeah? Think about their profile, their public role, their costume in this life. And then for her, her perceptual seeing actually is harmonic, that's the 3, harmonic to what he is in this life, the 6, the 3 and the 6. So, and then also it's resonant with what he be. So she's got the way that she sees is related to resonating with what he is, as well as similar to his awareness of how he experiences his life. So that's how I might explain it to you, and then you find your language of how you want to explain it to the client. I put images on my slides to help them kind of relate and get a better sense of it or an idea of it. Now, when you have dissonant profiles and dissonant nodes looking across the way, again, is a last resort. I don't want you to try and do that if you find harmony or resonance in the profile. It's too deep. It's too much. You don't have to go there, okay? Now, Ross says, if you have a direct connection in the profile, you know you have somebody who is there to help you live out your purpose, or has a harmony to your purpose, or a resonance to your purpose. it doesn't mean that that's something that qualifies whether you have a good relationship or not. So here again, we have John Lennon and Yoko Ono. And when we take a look at this configuration of 2 and 1, we can see that she's got a 3 and 3. So that means then their worlds are basically different. So the friends that they're going to have, who they're interested in, who they're around, relatively speaking, what they're engaged with, perceptually seeing, very different. Not just the gates being different, but look at the lines first. The lines first are going to tell you a lot, the whole story, as far as their milieu being different, because they're designed to have different people in their lives, as an example. Remember, when you've got an undefined G-center person, they are maybe not necessarily, their friends group are going to get along because they can morph or mold or play different roles with different people. And she's got a fixed G-center, defined G-center. So she's got a real strong identity. She doesn't have that same ability like John did to get along or morph with people. So very different story, relatively speaking, to their nodes. So the nodes of the moon show the path that that being is walking, right? What they're going to resonate with. So this is about details and studying and investigating. And over here, it's about the actual experience. Not to mention that we have individuality here and we have collectivity here. Depending on how old they are, remember the first part of the life, they're going to resonate more with this side because that's where they are literally. And the second part of the life, after the Uranus opposition, they're going to be more relatable, recognizing this area of life because the road is the same, it's just that it's labeled something different. They're oppositions in the wheel, so they're very different from the first part of the life. They're developmental, nodes are, relatively speaking. So if we look at Elizabeth Barrett Browning and Robert Browning, we see that we've got a 1-4 and a 6-3. Same thing happening here, where there isn't a relationship to his perceptual, line value anyway, and gate value as well, perceptual reality, and her perceptual reality. There isn't, comparatively speaking. Similarly, the design side, the environment that they're walking through, are very different. So the fourth line is an environment where there's a lot of people who may be exhausted. It isn't necessarily that she's the one being exhausted, but there are these burned out people in her life that she's going to be attuned to. You can use the term attunement when it comes to nodes. What are you attuned to? This guy is going to be attuned to the trial and error of things and the material success potential, you could say, the communal success potential, right? That's going to be a part of his process. You can see that she's affecting him there as far as what he's going to resonate to on the environmental side. And then perceptually, his 6 may be more objective, whereas she's way more focused on the details and looking inward. He's way more, looking more transpersonally focused, you could say. Now, they're both 5-1s. So that means they had karma with each other to fulfill. And you can read about more their story if you want to on the internet, of course. So here we look at the nodes a little bit closer so that you can see they actually both affect each other on the nodally. And again, remember, it's not the nodes connecting up that affects fixing. It's what planets are there that are literally interfering with the environmental frequency. So you can see with her, she's got a 37 there that's pulling this into a juxtaposition on one side, so the vast swing between extremes. And here, on the other side, her nature is pulling his environmental stage into the detriment. And we can't get away from that. And it's not a problem, it's just a fixing. So just to know that about this partnership. Again, you don't have to explain, oh, this is a fixing, don't teach human design. Just teach them, okay, so this is why you might notice with this person, you might notice, and then you go into, you know, this, whatever that is, relatively speaking, to their big picture view, their nature of the relational dynamic. So you can read line values for that if you want to. Whenever it comes to fixings, fixings is where we can find a specific way of how that relationship is designed to show up, how they impact each other, in other words. Now let's take a look at Jesse James and Sandra Bullock. You see we have a 4-6 and a 2-4. So we have resonance, unconscious to conscious, in the profile. And we have dissonance in the nodes, meaning the 4 and the 6 are not related to the 2 and the 5. Okay? So they're dissonance, meaning they're not going to necessarily have the same friend group. Again, we have the similar thing. This is quite common that you will see, that an undefined G center connects up or hooks up with a defined G center. Why? It's a nice connection, by the way. So many of these bring challenges, and all of them bring challenges or problems, but it's nice in, I'm speaking from a defined G person with an undefined G person. It's nice because there is this sense of direction for the undefined G. There's a sense of potential, you know, higher self or love, transcendent love that is in that partnership. She just has to be careful not to lose herself in relationship to the defined G, because what can the defined G do in a not self? Mislead or initiate leading the undefined G. Oh, you're so great at, you should do this, you should go there, you should, you know, that shouldness, that shoulding thing that's happening. Okay, so the moment that you get to a 7 and 2 here, we've got a 7 and 2, work to do, is the moment that we have a dynamic where they're easily able to go in 2 separate ways, if you recall. She might say, I'm going out with the girls. Jesse James says, I'm going out with the boys. Or I have this, you know, engagement, I'm going to go to this poetry reading, or we're going to go play pool, whatever the case may be. So all the people that they meet, when you have dissonance as well in the profile, or sorry, not profile, nodal, there we go, directional. All the people are going to be different in nature, different in quality. Yeah, just different. Even though, look at this, let's see, we got 25, 25, 46, 46, 10, 10, 15, or sorry, 15 and 10, 15 and 10. What do you notice about that? Those are all transpersonal love, right? So there's this commonality, shared reality as far as they're all collective, and it's all about identity and direction or role that one might play when it comes to finding love through others. So in that respect, there is a relationship, but it's still very different thematically, right? So she's seeing an environment of networkers, and she's also designed to be around walking a path where she's attuned to the role model in others. And so that's where we have this, compatibility up there. Yeah, a shared reality as far as he's a 6, she's designed to walk a path where she's attuned to the 6s. And she's a 4th line, relatively speaking to the perceptual reality. She can resonate with what he is, perceptually speaking, there, as well as resonate to what he is on the conscious personality side. She is a 4 herself as well. So again, that's not how you're going to analyze it for your client, but it's me mechanically speaking truths to you that you can kind of get a grasp for how you might help your clients understand each other. Yeah? Helping them get comfortable with each other's process. So as an example, what's the problem here? Problem is that why does our relationship have to be work in order for us to stick together? You know, because it's so easy to go this way and that way. Or why do my friends not hang out with your friends? Is there anything wrong with us that our friends don't mix? No, that's a homogenization bullcrap. piece of baloney that we can just alleviate their fears about the relationship or dispel any misconceptions about what a relationship should be, because every relationship is different. So here again, Sandra Bullock, Jesse James, and this is a dynamic, you know, famous relationships don't necessarily last a long time. And the more difference, you can see we have a reflector with a generator. It's a very different auric frequency field or dynamic. So as far as areas of compatibility, you now know that you can look to across the way if you need to. Yeah, across the way if you need to compare and contrast and find their relationship relatability. Here's a different guy, Ryan Gosling with Sandra Bullock. And if we look at this fully resonant profiles, 2-4 with 2-4, yet still we have a dissonance in the nodes, you know then you have profile, public role, their costume in life that they can relate to each other on. Sameness is less challenging, may not be as interesting, but it's less challenging. Now you can see we have a little bit of challenge here, an exaltation and a detriment, a fixing relative to what's going on there because of this compromise where Sandra's being compromised and their planetary activations are influencing each other. So that means fixing. Fixing can be uncomfortable if experienced for long periods of time. Oh, there's another one. The 23 being compromised down there. That is a juxtaposition, therefore fixing, right? So we have fixings that we need to take into account. So with the profiles the same, but with the nodes difference, 2 and 2 is not alike at all with 4 or 6. So complete dissonance in the nodes. Why do our friends not get along? Oh, we're a 6 and 3. We remember it's better to be free. So this is why it's not necessarily working out, no matter how hard somebody might try to make it work. Now, it's not a death sentence. It's not like you're telling them, well, this is a relationship where you just better be free. It's, oh, well, there's not as much holding this relationship together, and you have different friend groups, that's all. And your friends might not get along with each other because you're really designed to walk a path that's, his is very specific. Hermit, just like that hermit personality, but hermit not only personality perceptually, selective, picky, bigot, yeah. Also, this relationship on the design side is picky as well and hermit-like, and people who are hermits, and that's just not anything. Like, she's got 2 transpersonal lines here relative to her environment, lots of people, networkers, opportunities abounding through the network. Similar in nature, but that's their body, brain-body system. This is seeing, and this is where they be. So her 6th line and 2 do not compute, relatively speaking. So when you have a not self, and most people come to you as not self, because they have a lack of awareness, usually what happens is these nodal themes being different are some of the deepest conflict areas that a not self couple will have. It's one of the things that's really going to bother them. So you'll see here there's so many levels of this, and if you're just looking at the surface and the way that they come together, you'll see whether they have a door or a window of leaving or potentially opportunity showing up, maybe an opening between the nodal path. That is an area of shared similarity or reality that you can show them or share with them. In this context, we don't have that. Now last, I think we have maybe a couple left. This is Catherine Middleton and Prince William. So this relationship was over in 2007. I won't go into details. We'll just do one more and see if you're getting it, if you're grasping it, and if you have any questions. 5 is harmonic with 2, resonant with 5. 1 is not harmonic or resonant. So we have a 2-5, we know we have a 6 motivational frequency, innocence in nature, right? Harmonic. Harmonic profiles need harmony. This is a dissonant profile. A 5-1 is dissonant. The 5-1 has karma with the 2-5. Now, if we take a look at their nodal comparison to each other, the 5 is harmonic with the 2. Same thing here, 5 harmonic with the 2. However, they're still very different. This is an environment where there's designed to be a lot of strangers. Strangers of consequence, strangers with impact. Oh, that's nice, as far as, your understanding. The way that she sees is designed, or he sees, is designed to resonate with what she is. And he's designed to be in an environment where there's strangers, messengers, heretics, people who are paranoid, rescue, save, fix, saints potentially. So think about all of the line qualities you already know. This is the design and this is the personality of their directional themes. Over here, oh, that is not the same at all. Harmonically, this is leave me alone, naturals. Don't bother me, I'm doing my own thing. So even though there is somewhat of a harmony there, it's not the same thing as resonance. It really isn't. Thematically, if you start to, it's still lines of projection. Here, it's a need in the environment for universalization. Here, it's a need in the environment for the naturalness being called out of them, out of others, waiting for the call. Lots of people who are waiting for, and don't want to be bothered, doing their own thing, that kind of thing. So here it is a little bit closer. If you see fixings, again, remember, that's going to be because if it's green, it's her, right? If she had a blue there, it would be him. It's because of a planet, not because of the node. And when you go deeper into that, you can see, okay, so her influence on you is, and where the environment is, you'll have this. And then the environment here on this side, depending on how old he is when you analyze him, you'll have this. And then whatever that is, you can read the thematics of the line for more details. So when it comes to, wait, let me go back here. Yeah, we're good with that. I'll make sure I got all my things that I wanted to get across to you. When we go back here to nodes, to sum things up, remember, nodes are a place in space, portals in space. It gives the body, the vehicle, its direction in life, and we can find some compatibility through the nodes, but it doesn't give you the same hookup as a profile would. It's not necessarily incorrect when you see the connectivity being dissonant. Sometimes when you see dissonant profiles in their costume, their public role, their profile, Sun Earth, and you see dissonance in the nodes, that isn't necessarily going to lead to a lot of compatibility. But you can find potentially a crossover, like I was trying to demonstrate, by looking at the lines in the nodes. If you can't find it in the profiles, if there's dissonant profiles, look to the nodes. When you analyze nodes, you can see if you're on a similar path. Same path would be exact same gate and line. Similar path would be different gates, of course, and then line qualities being the same. So there's a similarity in nature of what they're walking through in this life, or how they see, if it's on the conscious personality side. If you have a different environment to experience, there's less likelihood of them to go out the same window, you could say, in there. If they have an 8 and 1, have some fun. Even though they have an 8-1, remember how we talked about going out the same window? If their nodes are dissonant, it's not necessarily true, because their nodes are different. Remember, it's an environmental directional theme. Nodes are karmic. So sometimes there are people that show up that we have a karmic connection to. And what to do. It is what it is.